I helped the girl next door work through her problems, and afterward, I got scared my family would find out. I packed my bags overnight and rushed halfway to the airport. The second I boarded the plane, I lost it and begged the crew to take off right away. I had just collapsed into my seat when out of the corner of my eye, I saw dozens of black cars racing toward us. My face went white as a sheet and my blood ran cold. He was coming for me and I looked down at myself. The marks from before were still on me. One glance and everything would be obvious. If he caught me today, then for the rest of my life, I would never get to stay by his side again. The convoy kept getting closer. I stared out the window in complete despair. Then a gorgeous woman stepped out of the car surrounded by people. Even though I knew he couldn't possibly see inside the cabin, panic still wrapped around me. I wanted to smash the window and jump out just to escape right as he was about to reach the plane. The plane suddenly started rolling down the runway, and in just 2 minutes we were airborne. I watched that stunning woman stop in her tracks, getting smaller and smaller in my view, until she vanished beneath the clouds 7 days later. I flew back to Green Hill City on a commercial flight, worn out from days of non-stop travel. One face-off with Jenny, and I'd blow my cover, so I spent all 7 days abroad recovering. Just to get back to normal, I'd already found out Jenny had a business trip today, so I timed my return on purpose, hoping we'd just barely miss each other. But I never expected she'd push her trip back to tomorrow afternoon. I turned right around and headed straight for the biggest club in town, Neon Fish. It was peak hours and I hit the dance floor, moving loose and easy. Even the dim flashing lights couldn't hide my sharp features. With that expensive, polished vibe, I still stood out in the crowd. Plenty of women had been eyeing me for a while, one dressed pretty casually. Had her eyes glued on me and slowly inched closer. I noticed her coming and gave her a hand signal to back off, then walked the other way, but she didn't care at all. She kept crowding in and casually reached her hand toward me. Just as her hand was about to touch my clothes, I grabbed her wrist firmly. A light tug sent her stumbling back a few steps and everyone around us scattered. I straightened my clothes and walked slowly toward her. "Didn't you come to the club just to pick someone up?" The woman cut herself off. I stepped forward, looking at her coldly. "I dress this way because I want not to please anyone, and definitely not. So people like you can get ideas. Remember, before you try to meet someone, learn some respect first." I stepped back and walked off the dance floor, and the whole place erupted in cheers and applause. Right then I spotted a friend waving me over to their booth, so I grabbed a drink. Clinked glasses with everyone there, and the crowd cheered for my drinking skills. I just shrugged like it was nothing. I pulled out my phone and froze for a second, seeing a message from Jenny. Those 7 days I hid away. I kept posting on social media to fake a trip, but I'd barely talked to Jenny at all. This was the longest we'd gone without contact since I was a kid. Now even just a text message made my heart race. I quickly wiped my hands and checked the message. Jenny asked, "Where are you?" I replied, "Sleeping at a hotel. I'll be back tomorrow. Where are you?" "Hey Jenny, did you miss me? Because I really missed you. I'm right behind you. Come say hi." My knees went weak with fright. I almost fell over. Luckily, someone caught me in time. "Are you drunk?" I shook my head and took a deep breath to calm down. My friend kept mumbling and looked totally confused. "What are you even talking about?" I didn't catch a word of that. Nothing. I laughed it off. "Just, my family wants me to come say hi." "Fine, whatever, no big deal." I turned and headed to Jenny's booth. She was in a dark, long dress, sitting there looking relaxed, and as I got closer, she gave me a cool glance, and just like that, all my confidence vanished. I set down my drink and walked up to admit I was wrong. "Jenny, I messed up. I'm sorry, I really regret it. I'm sorry from the bottom of my heart. Truly sorry." She swirled her wine glass casually, a small smile tugging at her lips. "What did you do wrong?" I answered seriously. "I shouldn't have come out partying this late." Right as I said that, she stopped swirling her glass and looked right at me. Just one look was enough to make my heart pound like crazy. My mind flashed back to that night 7 days ago. Is she here to settle the score? Jenny, is it still okay for me to come out tonight?" "What do you think?" "I think it's fine." I dropped the smile, instantly stood up and bolted. But I hadn't even taken 2 steps when a group of people surrounded me. I spotted the woman from before walking toward me smugly, saying, "Took me forever to find you." I cut her right off. "What's going on today?" "What are you going to do about it?" I shot back. Not backing down at all, I calmly swatted away her outstretched hand. Completely cold. No softness at all. Forget the people surrounding me. Even that fierce-looking woman froze on the spot. She never expected this pretty boy in front of her to move so decisively after that standoff. I felt pretty worn out and figured I'd slip away. But just as I turned, my eyes landed on the woman on the couch. She tilted slightly, holding her wine glass by the stem. When she caught me looking, her lips curved up. She tipped her head back and finished her drink, eyes locked on me the whole time, like she had everything under control. My heart sank. Great, now there's no getting out of here tonight. Jenny must have leaked her own trip on purpose, just to lure me back and corner me today. There's no dodging this. No wonder she's known for being so sharp. I walked over to her and sat right down next to her. "Jenny, those people looked really scary." The second those words left my mouth, the whole place went dead silent, but Jenny just looked completely unbothered. "Scoot over there. No way. Look at those guys. They look like straight up gangsters, and they were trying to gang up on me." The woman across from us looked totally stunned. "Excuse me, what did you just say? Who's the weak one here? Who threw the first punch?" "Jenny, he's being so scary." "Nowhere near as scary as you," the woman finally snapped. "I don't care how many faces this guy has, you listen to me. I'm taking you down today, please. Going crying to some woman won't do you any good. You should ask around. Everyone here knows who I am. I started shaking Jenny's arm right away. She actually said she couldn't help. How is that fair? He touched my hand, and that's fine. But saying you're useless, I can't let anyone say that about you. Jenny grabbed my wrist. Dead serious, he touched her hand. Yeah, when she looked at that woman, her eyes were completely blank, like looking at nothing. The woman kept backing away, but seeing her own crew behind her, she got bold again. I don't care who you are, but let me tell you something. Around here, everyone shows me some respect. Guys hold them back, right? Then the club lights suddenly flipped on full blast. The doors burst open and security rushed in, politely blocking the group and shutting down the chaos. Once things settled down, all the guards bowed their heads and said, Miss Chen, the woman who'd been struggling, froze instantly. I'm so sorry, Miss Chen. Turns out that woman really was Miss Chen. Oh no, this is bad. Jenny was known for being sharp and fair. With a great reputation across the whole city, the woman glanced over at Jenny and saw me still chattering away right beside her. That was so scary, Jenny. You scared me to death. Good thing you were there. But the woman could clearly see there wasn't a trace of fear in me. She just smiled to herself, but there was a cold edge to her eyes that was hard to describe. The woman felt her heart drop. This had gone way too far. She'd only wanted to flirt, but ended up crossing. Miss Chen's rumored crush, her eyes went from shaking to totally hollow. Jenny said flatly the usual. Then looped her arm through mine and walked right past the woman. Out of the club, I leaned in close to Jenny's ear. Jenny, I want to tell you a secret. Here's the secret, I suddenly shouted. Jenny, I have a girlfriend now. While she was still stunned, I shoved past her and bolted the other way, but I didn't get far before 3 or 4 bodyguards cut me off. Then her soft voice rang out. Chen, come here. I froze, thinking, oh no, knowing her. The softer she talks, the angrier she is. If I push this any further, it's over. But I really didn't want to just give in. After all, what I did 7 days ago was way out of line. If she actually decided to settle that score, would I even make it out of this club? I gritted my teeth, turned around, gave her a pitiful look, and said all sulky, okay, fine, I'll be a good girl and listen to you. But after 2 steps, I purposely tripped myself and hit the ground. Ow, that really hurts. I yelled pretty loud, sneaking a glance at her to check her reaction. Seeing she didn't move, I kept playing it up. This is so miserable. I just came back to grab something I forgot. And now I'm getting yelled at, and nobody even helps me up when I fall. If I'd known it'd be like this, I wouldn't have bothered coming back. Nobody even cares that I'm sitting here on the ground. I kept whining over and over. The woman who'd been standing by the car looking furious heard my complaints and let out a sigh, then took a few deep breaths, closed her eyes, and thought, calm down, calm down. This is the person I care about most. Don't get mad. Don't get mad. After talking herself down, she turned to look at me. I looked up at her pitifully, reaching out my hand for help. Jenny still had that reluctant look on her face, but in the end, she pulled me up anyway. Once I was up, I held her hand, thinking to myself, old fox or not, I've still got her wrapped around my finger. Dealing with her is honestly easy for me. Jenny held my hand and walked me back to the estate. The staff saw me limping and went into full panic mode. The entire place lit up instantly, and by the time the medical team arrived at top speed, they froze, seeing the scene in the living room, me sitting on the couch, and Jenny, the ever-composed Miss Chen, crouched beside me, treating my swollen ankle. I pulled my foot back, not liking it, and grumbled, Jenny, be gentler, it hurts, or just forget it, don't bother. Jenny held my ankle steady without even looking up. Hold still, almost done. Seeing her react that way actually annoyed me a little, so I said, I don't care if you're this cold and snappy with me, I don't even want to talk to you. Get away from me, hearing me being unreasonable. She went quiet for a moment, head down, then said softly, Chen, let's talk about everything else later. Let's take care of this first, okay? I huffed and stayed silent. Jenny sighed and said, I'm sorry I was too harsh earlier, I'll make it up to you later. Let's take care of this first, okay? That satisfied me, and I answered right away, since you apologized so sincerely, fine, I forgive you. Not petty like you at all. Jenny laughed despite herself. Yeah, our Chen is the most generous and handsome one around. Happy with the compliment. I stopped acting up and let her finish treating my ankle. Jenny even went to the kitchen herself to make me a bowl of plain congee while I was eating. She looked at me and dropped a question out of nowhere. Chen, you still haven't explained this girlfriend thing? Well, we're not actually together yet. I just kinda like her. I kept eating like it was no big deal, not daring to look at her reaction, but I could feel her stare turning cold. So Jenny kept pressing, what's her name? How did you two meet? I put down my spoon and asked, confused, are you interrogating me now? Jenny just stared at me, arms crossed, not saying a word. A lie has to be backed up, so I had no choice but to keep making things up. We're just old college classmates. We're not together yet. If you keep grilling me like this, how am I supposed to get with her? Jenny asked coldly. What's her name? I stiffened up and said, I'm not telling you. Jenny looked annoyed and called out my full name. Chen, as she spoke, she kept rubbing the bracelet on her wrist, seeing that habit. I knew right away I'd pissed her off again, and I knew this wasn't the time to push back. So I softened up a bit and said, Jenny, we're really just classmates for now, nothing official. There's just a little something there. I'm still thinking it over. I paused for a second, then kept going. It was 7 days ago actually. That night we gamed all night together. We got into a fight over something small, and it made me so mad I just flew out of the country. That's why I said I need to think about it. Her temper is way too much. How could she be my girlfriend? Jenny asked suspiciously. You two gamed all night together. Yeah, I love gaming. I looked her right in the eye. She plays with me all the time, sometimes all night long. But I don't think that's really healthy, I said, pulling out my phone from my pocket, and pulled up my game history to show her. The most recent match was 7 days ago. The last round was early that morning. While she checked the timestamps, I quietly watched her face, trying to guess if she was buying it once she looked away. I played it cool and even added, Jenny, it's not that I won't tell you who she is, I just don't think it matters. We're not even guaranteed to end up together. Jenny didn't answer right away. After a pause, she just said, then don't. That stung a little more than I expected. Forget it, never mind. I wasn't in a great mood already, and bringing this up made it worse. I'm heading upstairs. I stood up and walked toward the elevator. Jenny watched me walk normally and teased Chen. Your leg doesn't hurt anymore. I caught myself and immediately went, ow, faking a limp all the way into the elevator once the doors closed. Jenny's smile faded right away while a bodyguard stepped up with a laptop and reported, Miss Chen, the hallway footage from 7 days ago has been recovered. Jenny stopped watching the spot where I'd been. The guard opened the laptop in front of her, and the footage started playing, but it hadn't gone on for long. Before the screen suddenly went black and the whole room fell silent. Jenny's eyes stayed dark and calm as she looked up at the guard. The guard broke into a cold sweat. Miss Chen, I'm so sorry. The footage was corrupted for 7 days. I pulled in top experts from all over. This is the best we could recover. Hearing that, Jenny's tone got even softer. I gave you time to fix it, and this is what you bring me. Miss Chen, please give me one more chance. I can fix it in 2 days. You've got 2 days if it's still not done. You know what happens next? When I got back to my room, I collapsed onto the bed, completely drained, heart still pounding like crazy. My phone kept buzzing with messages. I couldn't even check them. Not until I caught my breath did I finally pick it up. All from the same person, Sherry, a friend I've known for 10 years. Also a top-notch cybersecurity expert, a computer genius. She and I built one of the top cybersecurity firms in town. All that back and forth with Jenny was just to stall for time. I had Sherry tweak my game history, find a way to get the original footage. Chen, I've got an idea, just admit it. Tell her what really happened that night. Don't you want to be her husband anyway? 2 birds, 1 stone? I frowned, typing back. No way, I don't want us tied together out of obligation when it comes to love. I need it both ways. I love Jenny, but she has to love me back for it to count. Besides, I'm way too ambitious and my methods aren't exactly clean. She might think I'm some kind of freak. The last thing I want is her looking at me like a monster. Just thinking about it makes me sick. I pulled myself together, put the phone down and stood up to go wash up. Right then Sherry called me back. We've got a job, yeah. Just got a request. Sherry paused for effect, built up the suspense, then said, You're gonna love this one. My mouth twitched. Don't tell me it's Jenny wanting to track down that guy from that night. I nailed it in one shot. Sherry nearly lost it laughing. If that were true, this would actually be fun. But sadly, as the top woman in the whole Chen empire, she's got her own team, no need to outsource. I skipped the small talk, got straight to it. So what's the job? Sherry took her time answering. Here's a hint, the client's some rich kid. I answered without even thinking. Shengyanji. Sherry clapped. Impressed, I nailed it, then asked, There's one thing I'm curious about, can you explain it to me? What is it you leaked that the missing uncle, gone 18 years, was coming back to claim his stake? How were you so sure it'd be Shengyanji and not someone else from that family? I smiled and said, Shengyanji's been famous since he was a kid and even more praised now. But his mother worried he'd peak too early, so she held him back. That's left him bitter, always wanting to prove himself. Sherry laughed and jumped in, so word gets out. The rest of the family notices but doesn't act. But arrogant, self-assured Shengyanji sees it as his shot to prove himself. Now I get it, don't worry. I'll set up a perfect little meeting for you. I'll send the address later. After I hung up with Sherry, I got the address for meeting Shengyanji tomorrow. I held the phone and murmured, 18 years already, huh? And just like that, I sank into old memories. My real name is Sheng Chen, the old man's only true blood. But now it's my older brother running the family. He was actually a child the old lady had outside the marriage after she passed. Grandfather took pity on him and raised him like his own. Once I came along, he focused everything on me, grooming me to take over the family. But when I turned 8, Grandfather suddenly vanished and my brother had me shipped off overseas. But it wasn't my time to go. I ran into Jenny. I grabbed onto that lifeline, stayed close to her, and bided my time. After years of careful planning, I'm taking back what belongs to the family and making them pay for what they did. The next day, I got to the cafe to meet Shengyanji. I waited a full hour before he finally strolled in. I studied him carefully. We grew up together as kids. But after all these years, we'd both changed so much. If I hadn't already known who he was, I never would have recognized him. Shengyanji spoke up arrogantly. Sorry, something came up, so I'm a bit late, but he didn't sound sorry at all. As the eldest son and the city's most eligible bachelor, making people wait half an hour was nothing to him. People would kill for a meeting like this. I shook my head. It's fine. I just got here myself. Then I offered my hand. I'm Chen. I'll be handling your request. Shengyanji barely acknowledged me, then cut straight to business. Hello. I'm setting up a gathering in 3 days. Can you bring my uncle there? I nodded, of course. As for payment, Shengyanji nodded toward my phone check. Your phone. I raised an eyebrow and pulled it out, saw a deposit come in. I counted it quietly. This rich boy really doesn't hold back. Not only did he double the fee, he threw in extra. I heard Miss Chen has a private business event tonight. I need you to find out the address and get me an invite. I froze at that, so this guy's target is Jenny. Now this is getting interesting. I smirked and asked, so you're trying to run into Miss Chen tonight? In terms of family and looks, we're a perfect match. We just haven't had the right moment to meet then, he said proudly. Since it's practically fate that she'll fall for me, I might as well make the first move. Set up a run-in, it'll make a great story later. I listened quietly, noting how confident. He sounded like it was a done deal that Jenny would fall for him at first sight. Wow, so confident. Who gave him that idea? After he finished? Seeing I hadn't said anything, he pushed back. Something wrong, or can you just not pull this off? He stared me down all pushy. I could tell he was testing me, checking how good I really was, so this deal matters a lot to him. If I mess this up, years of hard work go down the drain. So I had to get this right, so I smiled and said, give me 5 minutes. He checked his watch. You've got 2, figure it out. I got up and walked to a corner booth. Called Jenny right away. She picked up fast. What's up? You've got plans tonight. I watched Sheng Yanzi as I asked Grace's little get-together. What about it, Chen? Jenny asked, confused. I ignored the question. You know Sheng Yanji, Jenny answered. Yeah, heard of him. Why is he showing up at your thing tonight? You know that. Jenny went quiet for a second. Grace and him get along. Tonight's little party is actually for him. Hearing that, it clicked instantly. This was Sheng Yanji testing me, seeing if I could really dig this up, so I told him, Sheng Yanzi will be there tonight. Without waiting for Jenny's reply, I hung up. Suddenly remembered I'd skipped breakfast with her that morning. Worried she'd bring up the girlfriend thing, or that night. Hopefully she forgot. I put my smile back on and returned to the table. Don't worry, man, tonight you and Jenny are guaranteed a nice little run, and Sheng Yanzi chuckled. Looking forward to it, then walked off, looking pleased with himself. Right after he left, Sherry called me. I told her everything that happened with him. Sherry went quiet for a second, then burst out laughing. Ha ha ha, she practically fell out of her chair. This rich boy is way too funny. Sherry was speechless. Couldn't even find the words, just went with a solid huh. So confident it's almost impressive, but I wasn't feeling it. Thinking Sheng Yanji clearly had a plan all along, using tonight to get close to Jenny. What made him so sure Jenny would even like him? Sherry noticed my silence and asked Chen, are you scared they'll actually hit it off? I had no answer. Scared? Not exactly scared. Just the thought of him getting close to Jenny bugs me, but I've got no right to tell her stay away from him. Thinking about it stung a little. You're overthinking this. There's no way Miss Chen and Sheng Yanji have any spark, she reassured me. Think about it. Has she ever let another guy near her? With that icy, untouchable vibe of hers, who'd even dare? Sherry's comment actually got a laugh out of me, true enough. Over the years, plenty of guys have tried to get close to Jenny. Every single one struck out. I'm the exception to the exception. Nobody's closer to her than me at 9 that night. I brought Sheng Yanji to Jenny's private gathering. He wasn't thrilled. About me tagging along, seeing his annoyance, I explained, this is a private party, I'll be with you. So you get first-hand intel on Miss Chen, but he just scoffed. Relax, you don't need to. Just give me the address, don't overdo it. I stayed quiet, knowing he didn't need me at all. But I still wanted to see how Jenny acted with other guys. If it was different from how she acted with me, and how exactly, seeing he couldn't shake me. Sheng Yanzi reluctantly. Let me tag along. I handed the invite to staff, and she let us in for Miss Chen's private party. Only the top socialites in the city could even get in. 4 women were gossiping about Jenny right then. Oh my god, she's actually playing that kid's game. What's it called again? Oh, right. I know that one. His young master lost 10 matches straight last time. He sulked for 2 whole hours. Miss Chen's probably grinding stars for him. A third woman chimed in, all secretive. Haven't seen her young master in ages. Wonder if... She cut herself off mid-sentence because she just spotted the guy she was talking about. We locked eyes and she gave an awkward laugh, shutting up fast. The other 3 froze, seeing me. Then their eyes shifted to Sheng Yanji beside me. With looks that said plenty, I just smiled at them. Then leaned in and whispered to Sheng Yanji, Miss Chen's right inside. He nodded and walked over. I followed close behind. Once we were out of earshot, they turned to each other. What is he up to this time, bringing that Sheng heir to set Miss Chen up? Didn't he lose it last time? Someone tried setting her up, now he's playing matchmaker. They all agreed on one thing: best to stay out of his business. If he actually loses it, none of us will have a good time. They all went quiet right as we walked in. I heard her mic blaring that Pentakill was so clean. Oh my god, Jenny, you're incredible! I wanted to run over and kiss her right then and there, but with everyone around, I let it go. Sheng Yanji said, stay here, I'll go say hi to Miss Chen. Honestly, I was curious how exactly this rich boy planned to charm his way into Jenny's heart. From here, I had a clear view of her on the couch. She was lounging lazily, legs crossed. She fiddled with her phone, then tossed it aside, grumbling. Such a garbage game, what's Chen even so mad about? Skipping meals over this, is it even worth it? I snorted. Thinking to myself, Miss Chen, not everyone's a genius like you, that game's actually hard. I glanced at Sheng Yanji. He wasn't rushing over to say hi. He poured 2 glasses of champagne, first walking toward her. Champagne sloshing in his glass, he's not gonna spill it on her. That cheesy move, seriously? Right as I thought that Sheng Yanji got close to her, The glass-tipped Jenny's eyes snapped up sharp. That look alone froze him solid. He didn't even react. Jenny glared at the stranger, clearly annoyed. Then her eyes drifted to me, and the annoyance melted away her lips, even curved up. Sheng Yanji recovered fast, sat down with his champagne. On the single seat beside her, Miss Chen. "I'd like to discuss a partnership," I quietly signaled Jenny. She glanced at him for 1 second, then went right back to her phone, unbothered. He kept going. "Miss Chen, you're gonna want to hear this. It's about that young master at your estate." Hearing it was about me, I got interested. Sat up straight, listening closely. Jenny finally looked over at him. "Miss Chen, you may not know. Since you've never had a partner, people have been speculating about you and Chen." Jenny let out a short laugh. "Bold of you. Do you even know what you're saying hearing that?" Sheng Yanji clearly felt her anger but pushed on anyway. "I know you don't care about gossip, but he's still young. What if it hurts him? So if you got engaged now, the rumors would just disappear on their own. And out of everyone in this city, I'm the only one worthy of being your husband." I watched his little performance in silence, thinking, his pickup line was corny as hell, but I had to admit he did have some charisma. Even kind of charming, honestly. If I were Jenny, I might actually consider it. That thought made me nervous watching her. Right then she glanced my way, lips curling just slightly. Then she said slowly, "Not a bad offer. I'll think about it." I froze completely. Wait, what does that mean? I figured she'd say yes to get rid of him, but she actually meant it. Getting the green light from Jenny, Sheng Yanji lit up instantly. "Let's talk logistics, maybe start showing up at a few events together." "Sure, why not?" Jenny thought it over for a second. Nodded. "Sounds good. How about dinner tonight?" The moment she said that, my face darkened, eyes locked on her. Thinking to myself, she's always been so cold. To every guy who's tried this. But this Sheng Yanji only needed 3 sentences. And she just agreed. What does that even mean? Clearly Jenny actually wants something long-term with him, so what? What does that make me thinking? That I muttered through gritted teeth. "Wow, Jenny, real classy. I'm done with you." I wasn't sticking around for more, turned around and walked out. I didn't leave the venue. I just stepped out to the lounge. Texting Jenny like crazy on my phone, I didn't even notice the door open. She just stood there watching me, her phone buzzing nonstop from my texts. Jenny shut the door and walked right up to me. Our eyes met again. Then she raised an eyebrow and said, "Chen, you think I'm a bad person," remembering how she talked to Sheng Yanji. I shot back. "Aren't you, though? You just go along with whatever he says." The famous Miss Chen, since when did you lose your brain? "Move, I don't want to deal with you." I stood up and pushed past her. Tried to walk out, but she grabbed my arm, teasing me. "You gotta respect the guy who brought you here, otherwise he'll throw a fit." I gritted my teeth. "Oh, really? Well, thanks so much for the respect, Miss Chen." Jenny laughed. "No problem. I don't give just anyone that respect. Only for our guy," I scoffed. And said sarcastically, "Well, Miss Chen, go handle your business. Sheng Yanji's waiting for you. I'm off to find my future girlfriend by..." Jenny's face fell instantly. "Future girlfriend, so you two are official now." I acted surprised. "Well, gotta enjoy being young. Better make the most of dating. I don't want to end up like you. Still single at your age and now doing business deals with guys. That's just embarrassing." I shook off her hand and headed for the door. Barely took a few steps before her voice stopped me. "You've got 2 choices. Either you end things with that person yourself, or I go talk to them directly." I turned around. She looked at me completely blank, though nervous inside. I still snapped back. "You get to hang out with other people. Why can't I, Jenny?" "You don't get to control my love life just because you're older." Jenny ignored that and just said, "Chen, don't make me say it twice." I didn't want to argue anymore either, so I waved her off, making up an excuse. "Sheng Yanji's waiting for me out there. I gotta go." Jenny watched me walk away, holding back the urge to drag me back. "He's family. Don't get mad at family." Calm down, calm down." Less than a minute later, Jenny made a call. "I had you people dig into this, and nobody's found a single thing. I swear I'm surrounded by amateurs. You've got 24 hours. Find out who this woman in his heart is." Meanwhile, I pulled myself together and headed back inside. Sheng Yanji frowned when he saw me sounding annoyed. "I was just looking for you. Where'd you disappear off to?" "Sorry about that. My stomach was acting up, so I was stuck in the bathroom a while." Sheng Yanji looked way too pleased with himself, said smugly, "Whatever, none of that matters. We're heading out. Oh, and here's the good news. Miss Chen invited me to dinner just as I was calming down." That comment threw me right back off. "Jenny, what exactly are you playing at? You never ask anyone out, and now you're the one making the move. Something's off here." I wanted to march back and demand answers, but I still had to see Sheng Yanji off, so I smiled and walked him out. The second he left, I burst through the mahjong room door. Loud enough to make everyone jump. They almost snapped at me, but seeing it was Jenny's kid, they let it slide. I spotted Jenny about to sit down at the table. An idea hit me instantly. I strolled over, grinning. "Oh, Miss Chen, enjoying a little game." Before I could finish, another woman cut in. "Chen, good timing. The one talking to Miss Chen is Grace, her close friend." I ignored her and kept being petty. "Oh, I'm definitely not family with Miss Chen." If Sheng Yanji walked in and saw this, things would get real awkward. The moment I said that, whoever was sitting next to Jenny bolted immediately. Grace sensed the tension and tried to leave too. "I've got stuff to handle, you guys go ahead." I blocked her from leaving, so she gave in. "I'll deal with some stuff later, just one round, then I'm out." Ignoring her, I asked, "Hey, Grace, What's the buy-in tonight? Grace glanced at Jenny nervously. Oh, it's just for fun, no real stakes. Come on! Where's the fun in that? Isn't Miss Chen building that resort out south if she loses? She gives the resort to whoever wins tonight. I looked at Jenny, daring her. Grace didn't dare say a word, clearly worried Sheng Yanji's grumpiness. Over the dinner thing put everyone on edge. Jenny might tolerate his moods, but she won't tolerate ours if he throws a fit. We're the ones who'll suffer, just play this round and bail. Grace looked over at Jenny. Jenny just nodded, calmly saying, let's start then. Grace exchanged a look with the other woman and sighed. Guess we're stuck with this. I clearly had steam to blow off. Sitting right next to Jenny, I blocked every tile she needed, called out every move I could just to mess with her. After 2 rounds, Jenny's chips were basically gone. Grace ended up winning. Oh, well, I'll have my lawyer transfer the resort to you. Jenny said it so easily I sat there. Feeling a little satisfied, Jenny looked at me smirking and said slowly, too bad. That resort was actually meant for Chen for his private parties. She left looking all wistful. I sat there stunned, thinking, wait, hold on. So that resort was for me this whole time, no wonder. She wasn't even mad about losing. Did I just shoot myself in the foot? Dang it. Ugh, Jenny, you sneaky little. I glared at Grace so bitterly she panicked and said, Chen, if you want it back, I'll give it back, but you'll need your sisters, okay? I waved her off, acting all cool about it. A bet's a bet. I never said I wanted it back. It's yours, Grace, enjoy it. Then I got up to leave. Right at the door, I called Sherry saying, you free? Let's go hit up a bar. Mid-sentence, a car pulled up right in front of me. The back window rolled down, revealing Jenny's sharp profile. She raised an eyebrow at me. Wow, Chen, bold move. Heading to a bar, keep that up and I'll ground you for 6 months. I got straight to the point, Jenny. Why are you having dinner with Sheng Yanji, guess? She rolled up the window and drove off, leaving me fuming on the sidewalk. Since she banned the bar, I grabbed some drinks and went to Sherry's place. Sherry had to cancel her motorcycle plans. Just tell me what he's really trying to do. She's never had interest in guys ever. Why'd she agree to dinner after 3 lines from him? What is going on? What does this mean? Sherry heard the whole thing and dug in. What do you think it means? She's probably into him. I choked on that. Just stared at her wanting to argue, but nothing came out, so I just drank. Sherry watched me for a while, then sighed and said, Chen, what are you even upset about? You've been by her side for like 15 years. Even if she goes to 1 dinner. Why would that mean she's dating him? That logic doesn't even add up. I stayed quiet at that. She patted my shoulder and kept going. Forget everything else. Remember your whole rebellious phase. Jenny tried to keep you in line and you fought her on everything. You drove her crazy. Anyone else would have kicked you out ages ago. But she never once said a harsh word to you. You really can't see how much she cares. If you actually like her, stop being stubborn. Just tell her. I stared into my drink thinking, of course I know she cares. But that's exactly why I'm scared. What if she just got used to having me around? If I say something and it changes everything, I'd lose every reason to stay by her side. So as long as she doesn't feel the same, I can't let her know how I feel. We both sat in silence for a bit, then Sherry laughed. Adult relationships aren't that complicated if you want her to love you. Then go get her. I paused mid-drink, then said, you're right. I'm heading back now, said and done. I finished the last bottle, got up all wobbly. Insisting I go home, Sherry was a real one. Drove me all the way to the estate. Meanwhile, Jenny had just gotten back from her own thing. She'd had quite a bit to drink too, just showered and was about to sleep. When she felt something off, turned and saw me, asked gently, Chen, what are you doing here without thinking? I pulled her straight into a hug. Jenny, totally caught off guard, froze completely. Took her a second to push me off. Once she did, I kept up the drunk act, saying, I don't care, you can't leave me. If you walk away from me today, I'm never talking to you again. She had no choice but to hold my hand and calm me down. I was a mess, but easy to soothe once she held my hand. I grinned like an idiot and passed out hugging her. In the middle of the night, I jolted awake and slipped out of bed fast, sneaking out of Jenny's room straight through the back door. I called Sherry to come get me and asked her to wipe the cameras too. A bit later, Sherry pulled up on her bike, tossing me a helmet. Thought you'd come clean when you woke up. Guess you ran instead, Sherry teased. I stared at the back seat holding the helmet, said quietly, go grab a different ride. What's this about? I dodged the question. Just do it. Don't ask why. In the end, Sherry called someone to pick me up. Once we got to her place, she'd already wiped all the footage from last night. Sherry got serious, said I need to warn you about 2 things. First, the footage is handled, but don't forget to grab that flash drive. Second, that fake girlfriend story of yours, Jenny's already looking into her. You should be careful hearing that. I frowned. If she actually digs deep, this could fall apart fast. She nodded, so I already lined someone up to play your girlfriend. He's back home right now. Here's his info. Get familiar with it these next few days. I patted her shoulder. You're the best. Thanks for going through hell for my love life. Appreciate you. She waved it off. No problem, just my bad luck. Once that was sorted, I went straight to catch some sleep. But I couldn't rest, tossed and turned all night. Got up at dawn, went to the kitchen for water. Found Sherry working on her laptop in the living room. I wandered over curious. She closed the laptop, smirking at me. I bumped her arm with my cup, nervous. Hey, did you find something on my fake girlfriend? Sherry leaned back, tapping the desk half right. Your fake boyfriend story is airtight. For now, but Sheng Yanzi's been up to a lot lately. Watch out for him. I gripped my cup tighter. What's he planning now? Is he seriously trying to lock down a marriage deal with one dinner? Sherry pulled up her screen, showing chat logs and evidence he's rallying elders, spreading marriage rumors, trying to grab power through Jenny, even paid big to recover the footage from that missing night. He wants to use you as leverage against Jenny. I looked down, silent. At 8 years old, my brother had me shipped overseas. Jenny saved me and I've stayed by her side ever since. Quietly plotting to reclaim my family while hiding how I felt about her. Faking a girlfriend, acting up at the club, losing that resort on purpose. It was all a test. I was too scared to admit my feelings. Afraid I'd lose even the excuse to stay near her. Sherry patted my shoulder. Stop hiding, Jenny already knows everything. You drunkenly barging into her room, me tweaking your game history. You fleeing the country 7 days ago, she's known it all along. She only agreed to dinner with him to draw him out. To push you to finally face your feelings. I looked up completely stunned. She knows everything. Sherry handed me a thick stack of evidence. Why do you think she keeps letting your little tantrums slide? This is every scheme Sheng Yanji's been running. All set for the reveal, I thanked Sherry, and rushed straight back to the estate. Jenny was waiting in the living room, a cup of warm tea beside her. Hearing me, she looked up gently. So Sherry told you everything? I sat down next to her, full of guilt. Jenny, I'm sorry there was no college classmate. I made it all up just to annoy you that night. 7 days ago, I panicked and fled the country. Honestly, I was just scared to face you. All these years staying by your side, I was trying to reclaim what's mine, while holding on to your warmth, too scared you'd push me away. So I kept testing you. That day you agreed to dinner with him. It wrecked me. I've never just seen you as a sister. Jenny laughed softly, ruffled my hair. I found you 15 years ago. I recognized the family jade on your neck instantly. I've always known every lie, every little scheme of yours put up with your nonsense. Just waiting for you to come clean on your own. That marriage deal. I never once agreed to it. I only used it to gather evidence. He was tearing the family apart. Spreading lies. She handed me a thick file. This proves what your brother did to your grandfather back then. Tonight I'm meeting Sheng Yanji for dinner. Come with me, we're ending this tonight. That night in the private room, Sheng Yanji sat in a sharp suit, still full of himself. Seeing us together, his smile widened. Miss Chen, have you thought over the marriage proposal? Jenny slid the evidence across the table. Drop the act, it's all here. Every rumor you spread, every scheme against your family. Sheng Yanji flipped through the pages. His face went white, all that arrogance gone. I stopped hiding who I was, said calmly. I'm Sheng Chen, the rightful heir to this family. Your little marriage scheme to grab power. We already have all the proof we need since you're still family. We won't press charges, but every share you hold is being stripped. You're being reassigned to a branch office far from here. Behave yourself and you'll still have a future. But try something like this again and you know exactly what happens. Sheng Yanji knew he was beaten, slunk out of the room in defeat. Once it was just us, I held her hand and finally set it straight. Jenny, I don't want to just be the kid throwing tantrums at your side anymore. I'll handle everything with my family for the rest of my life. Can I finally stand by you for real? Jenny's eyes softened completely. She squeezed my hand back. Chen, I've been waiting. I'd waited 15 years for that. 2 weeks later, I officially took back the family business, handed daily operations to old Chen. Finally free of all the scheming and pressure, my tech company with Sherry kept growing. Grace even gave back the resort I'd lost on purpose that day. Filled with all my favorite games, it became our own little getaway. One weekend, the garden was in full bloom. I pulled out the ring. Got down on one knee in front of Jenny. I used to hide everything behind lies. From now on, no more hiding. No more games. I'm Sheng Chen. And I'm yours alone. I'll be right here every single year. Will you marry me? Her eyes welled up. Smiling, she held out her hand. Let me slide the ring on, softly said. Yes, the staff and Sherry all clapped. The photo caught that perfect moment, sunlight filling the whole garden. A fall wedding followed. Business partners, friends, and even old family staff all showed up, nothing but well wishes. No more scheming, no more drama after the wedding. We each ran our own ventures. All that jealousy and lying from before became just sweet memories we shared. Sheng Yanji's greed finally caught up with him and we finally got our happy ending. Side by side from here on out, our love only grew.